Making Miles Prowler's 3D printed bag light up. Here's how I did it. What is Blazing Dragon Ninjas? Got some brand new heat for y'all today. To start things off, I'm going over with glazing and spot putty on the rough areas of the 3D printed bag. This is a good time to say that I got the 3D printed file from Etsy, and I'll put the link in the description below. We're now going to cut open the spots where the lights will go. If you're still not entirely sure where to cut, these images should help, and also at the end of the video you'll see how it looks like. Now here's the second piece I'm working on, and it's kind of the same two spots that we're cutting open again. Sometimes peeling off the top layer isn't enough, so sometimes you gotta clean up the inside. Also, for those triangular pieces, you're gonna cut out a triangle out of it, and I lost the footage for it unfortunately, so you're just gonna have to see how it looks. Okay, now for this cylindrical piece that will attach to the triangle and to the rest of the backpack. We're gonna have to drill a hole through it. But hey, this is necessary for the wiring. I did get help for this because you can't do this alone. Okay, my fault, that wasn't funny. But anyway, we're gonna need to put another hole on the top of this cylindrical thing, and also one for that trigonal pyramid. Now I'm just gonna clear up all the support on the inside of the triangle. Now we're gonna have to stuff wire in the hole of the cylinder, and to push the wire further down, we're gonna have to use the pencil to push through. Once the wire has penetrated through, you can get any pointy object to scoop out the wire. Alright, at this point, if you're confused about the wire color I'm using, I ran out of red and black, so I use green as my positive and yellow as my negative. So just think of it as that if you're using red and black wire. Once I'm able to take out the positive wire, I give enough leeway and then cut it, as we can adjust this later. When outside of the positive and negative leads to the light of the triangle, do remember to put the wires inside of the hole of the triangle first, and then solder. And with that, this is how it should look. Now I'm just going to push down the light and glue it in place. I'm now measuring this light strip, which is around 3 inches, and that will go on this part of the backpack. Now I'm going to test to see how close of a fit it is and see if I need to cut extra, which I do. It now fits nice and snug. I'm now measuring where the long light strip will go for the main bulk of the backpack. My total length rounded up to around 23 centimeters, but you should definitely measure yourself because things can vary. Now a problem on my face is bending the light strip backward, and I have a solution for that. All you have to do is cut a V shape on where the bend is, and now it has flexibility to go backward. And now I'll just place it where it has to be and see if it fits. Had a little bit extra, so I just cut that off. Might I also add that when you're doing the V cut, be sure not to cut too deep. You're only cutting the silicone layer. You definitely don't want to cut the actual light strip. Now with that out the way, this is how the other piece will look like, and it's the exact same process. If you see pieces of white that you don't want visible, you can always just cover it with a black puff paint. And I also spray painted the whole backpack and oil rubbed bronze. I'll also put that as a link in the description. Now back to the cylinder piece, I'm going to change where the wire is going to exit out of. It's going to exit out of the side of the cylinder piece. Right there is where it's going to exit out of. And I'm going to face it towards the backpack so you can't see the wire. Right, so as you can see, I have the wires through here. So the wire I put at the back previously, now I just put a hole on this part. Let me show you when I detach it. Alright, this will give you a better visual representation. So I just have it hiding at the back. The wires go into here. I just used my soldering iron and melted it through, and boom, now it's gonna pop out of here. And now with it popped out of here, I simply just connect it to the detached part, and with the detached part here, made a hole there too. So now I'm just going to open up here, solder it, and I have to keep it like this. I'm now gonna solder short strips of the wire that will go through the backpack. Doing this just makes the process a whole lot easier when it comes to soldering in series. This strip has 2 V cuts. This makes it a lot easier to place. From this point on, it's very simple. You're just gonna get the wires we recently soldered on and connect that to the cylinder's wires, and that will be our first wires connected in series. Now, if you left good leeway, there should be some excess wires to cut off, so now it's more seamless. Now, preparing to solder, we're just gonna put some heat shrink tubing inside and get ready to put it together. So I ran into an issue with wiring with the light strip. This type of light strip only have the copper pads on one side, so I can only solder on one side. Some others have the copper pads double-sided on the light strip. The issue with the copper pad being on only one side of the light strip is that you lose flexibility with how you can solder things. Like here I had a hole at the back, but the copper pad was facing the front, so I had to do a weird 360 with the wire. If I knew where to buy the double-sided copper pad one, I would tell you, but I'm not entirely sure, as I believe you can get it on AliExpress. Okay, here's how the wires should be soldered together so far. The small light strips of wire leads to the backpack, and that's where the battery will be. The soldering on the other side is the exact same, so now we're just gonna skip to soldering the battery. First, you'll get your positive leads from your left and right side and solder it together. Then the same goes for the negative leads. And now you can simply just solder the positive lead of the battery and the positive lead of the lights. And I'll do the same for the negative leads. And wow, that's everything done. Time to test. And yes, it works. But we're still not done with the details. Time to add the screws in. I'm just gonna go over the spot with the E6000 and super glue combo. Now I'm pushing in the screws, and the screws are quite a tight fit, so you actually need to screw it in. The way I screwed it in is that I got my thin scissors and then actually rotated it. It took me a while to figure out what I should actually do, but I ended up landing on the scissors eventually. And there's the installation fully done. So gluing the bottom piece and the top piece of the backpack, I did the same gluing measures I did before, the E6000 and super glue combo. Though I do wish I used a lot more E6000 on the surface right here. And now we can merge the two pieces together. And right here, I'm just hiding the wire. And now that the wire's been hidden away, I can glue the cylindrical piece to the bottom base of the backpack. I would advise for you to use the strongest glue you can find, as these cylindrical pieces are prone to breaking. Now going back to the triangular pieces, you want to cut out a piece of EVA foam to fill the inside. You'll then hit this piece with a spray of Aura Rub Bronze to match the color of everything. I'm just going to go over the wiring again for anybody that's probably still confused. So starting from the triangular piece, that's going to move up the cylindrical piece and out through the back. That wire then connects to the long light strip through the bottom and then exits out through the long light strip, connecting to the short light strip, which then leads the wire to exit out of the short light strip to the back of the backpack. Now to make what the backpack actually is. A backpack. Yes, that's right. I'm gonna actually make it have storage because as of now it's currently just a piece for show, but I'm gonna change it to where you can fit maybe a few small things inside. And to start, you're obviously gonna be doing what I'm doing now, just tracing out the back of the backpack. To close the backpack, we're gonna use this Velcro and button latch. Same thing from the Prowler belt video, but if you don't have it, just use Velcro. Now I'm just only gonna glue the bottom of the cover to the backpack. I then started to install the elastic strap. Its dimensions are 25mm by 1.4 meters. This piece I definitely installed too long. Definitely give some leeway at first because it honestly is dependent on the person of how tight you want it to be. And now I'll just glue the right arm strap. Okay, it is time to now install the button on Velcro. I'm gonna cut out a hole on the cover that is exactly the same size as the button. I'm now gonna glue that to the cover. With that, I'll cut the excess off. I'll then connect the other side to the cover and then glue that on to the back of the backpack. I'll then cut off the excess, but the cover doesn't seem to fit on flush to the back of the backpack. That means that we'll add some extra Velcro. So what you'll have to do is just measure how long the edges are. Now it's time to add some Velcro. I'm gonna apply the soft side of the Velcro onto the backpack, because if the rough side were to be on the backpack, it would probably start sticking to like my jacket and other things. Now I'll just apply on the rest of the Velcro. And that completes the Velcro process. Now just to stick everything in place and test its rigidity, it seems good. Now for the last detail of the backpack, the buckle strap things on the strap. I don't know what it's called, but I'll simply just draw the design out with EVA foam. I also quickly like to add that for the backpack straps, there's actually a certain thing that the strap is supposed to wrap around, and I didn't have it because I thought they were useless at first because I didn't get enough of the pieces, so I was really confused. But you should use these pieces as it'll make wearing the backpack easier. Anyway, back to the task at hand. I'm now just drawing the shape out, which looks like this. The elastic fabric straps are about 2 centimeters wide, so I'm just basing it off those original 2 centimeters. And for clarity, I made sure to make the ruler show the dimensions as clearly as possible. Alright, now it's time to just cut it out. Okay, now I'll just duplicate this 3 more times. But to have these perfectly parallel on my chest, I have to test where it will be with tape first. So I hit the buckles with a dark steel rust oleum paint, and now I'm gonna set them in place. And boom, just like that, you just glue one to one side and glue the other to the other side. Before you spray paint these, be sure to heat treat it with either a heat gun or a blow dryer.